Okay,
Okay, can we get your name and spell it, just so we have it on tape?
sure. John Allen, Allen. I am the TSA Federal Security Director for West Virginia. And good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I wanted to especially thank our partners with the West Virginia DMV and, of course, the airport. So I'll be going over Real ID, and we'll probably rehash a few things that was already relayed. But October 1, 2020, every passenger will need a Real ID. It's a compliant driver's license or another acceptable form of identification to fly within the United States. So the West Virginia residents who want to board an airplane will soon need a gold star on their driver's license, indicating that it's a Real ID. Right there. There's your Real ID gold star.
Can you hold that up? Look?
Absolutely. And that's the indication that it is a Real ID. With the Real ID Act of 2005, Congress enacted the 9/11 Commission's recommendation that the federal government should set minimum security standards for state-issued driver's licenses and identification cards. Now, the reason from my perspective, TSA's perspective, is that the Real ID gives us another important tool in our security toolbox. It improves the reliability and accuracy of state-issued identification documents. And most importantly, it prevents and deters terrorists' ability to evade detection by using fraudulent identification. And we come across that quite often throughout the states. So, again, October 1, 2020, if you want to fly domestically, you will need a Real ID, the compliant driver's license, or another acceptable form of ID, such as a passport, to enter a security checkpoint. The good news is, as stated before, West Virginia residents have the option to upgrade to a Real ID if their license does not currently have that star. However, a standard credential without the star will not be valid to board a flight starting October 2020. I myself received my Real ID about 6 months ago. I went and got it. And I wanted to get ahead of the lines and the mad rush, which is what I'm recommending everyone out there. Go ahead and get it now. You don't want to be caught in that waiting process. So it's real simple. You just go to your local DMV and get your Real ID compliant license. And you know, I'd like to paint a picture for you. So let's think about the fact that someone spends and saves for a year, maybe 2 years, however long, pays thousands of dollars for a vacation. October 2nd, 2020, you show up at a checkpoint, security checkpoint, an airport, and you know you got your kids, you're going to Walt Disneyland or World or whatever, and you cannot fly that day. You can't go because you don't have the compliant license. The money is not refundable half the time, I'm assuming. So I mean, you know, think of the horrible consequences of that. I mean, it's thousands of dollars just wasted. So it's real simple. Head down to your DMV, get your Real ID. I mean, on the list of preferred IDs, I have about 4 of myself. I mean, accepted IDs for 2020. But I still went and got my Real ID because it's just simpler. I don't want to carry, you know, other forms of ID on me all the time. So I have my license. My license is on me all the time. It's Real ID, and we're good to go. Any questions?
What about children? You know, I mean, you brought up a point that I really wasn't thinking about. I mean, the parents have the ID. Mm-hmm. Do the children need some sort of ID?
Depending on age, no. That doesn't change for the current rules for children traveling.
Do you know what the age is that they have to? Is it 18 when you get
your, yes,
or
it is.
16, I should say, when you get your license?
18.
18. Talk about how, I mean, this is, like West Virginia's had it for several years. Mm-hmm. What are your agents telling you about this? I mean, is it making their job easier when they see that gold star on the license?
Well, right now, since it's really of no matter, only for the simple fact that it's not the only ID acceptable for a driver's license with a star. So the current non-Real ID licenses are fine as well. You know, we'll see October 1, 2020, and my fear is that we have many folks that are turned away from flying, and of course that'll have a very negative impact on airport operations, aircraft carriers, and the like.
The TSA, you guys also handle like cruise ships and other types of transportation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Well,
So-
at times, it depends.
Okay, so if you're, say if you're gonna take a cruise, something like that, you just can't use your real ID, you still have to have your passport, is that correct, or is that a?
Well, it depends if you're traveling out of the country. And international waters and things of that nature, yeah.
All right, thanks, Philip.
Thank you.
He's available for one-on-one interviews as well.
No problem.